Ready?
Yeah.
All right.
People are funny. You don't even know about the shit that I've been through.
All right.
Welcome to the Solutions Not Tip podcast. We've got one of my main men, Aaron Sims, here with us today. Aaron, say hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Listen, man, we planned a fucking crazy trip. Aaron, how long have I known you as now?
We started talking a couple years ago.
Man, a couple years ago.
And it doesn't even seem like it, man.
It's like it was like a blink, an eye, and a boom. First time I ever come across Aaron's page, I was doing my research and trying to get, find, hey, who's at the top? Where the best bullies at? Who were some people I could talk to? The first thing that caught my eye was his photography. And I'm a photographer by trade. It's not something I learned in school, and I got into videography heavy. And, it brought us here, man. And then, I just kind of talked a little bit about that. Really admired his work, still admire his work. And wanted to reach out and talk dog. We talked dog, man. And shit, fast forward, now we're taking a whole trip where we're shooting dogs, visiting with dog people, making some moments that I believe will historically be moments that live forever.
I was gonna say when you said you were gonna come out here and you were gonna do all these shoots, I couldn't help but think to myself, I was like, man, I got to be a part of this. And that's why I reached out to you. I said, you know what, man, if you're gonna do this, and I know your thing's video. I was like, if you want somebody to try and get the still frames, I'm more than willing to be there and help and try and then just be a part of this. I call it an adventure, bro. It really is.
It is. It is, because I don't think that anything could have prepped us for what took place today. I mean, today's been a hell of a day already.
Yeah. All day long, man. It's been it's definitely been interesting. For me talking shit to Fred, I'm telling him that Tuno's gonna whoop that ass, and the exact opposite happened.
But Dooley looked good today.
Oh, Dooley was phenomenal, and he was the dog to beat, and there wasn't a dog out there that could beat him today.
Period. I don't care what nobody said. Whatever happened. But at the same time, Dooley was the dog to beat. He came, brought his best. Tuna's coming off of just fucking a couple weeks ago, had some puppies. I mean, the puppies are still around, but
4 weeks ago she had puppies on the nipple. And
yeah.
She's out today. She was rock solid. She's just about bounced back 100%.
There you go. And trust me, she's in a phenomenal dog, in great shape, great coat, great everything, man. Amazing. So tell them a little bit about how you got into the American Bully, man, and why this dog means so much to you.
We started off just buying a pet for my wife, and I've told you guys before, I was the type of guy that would go to an animal shelter, pick out a mutt, and take it home.
Yeah.
I'd never buy a dog.
Especially for not the prices they selling them for.
Not the prices that they're selling them for, but I was fortunate that a friend of mine had an American Bully breeding going on, and I didn't know at the time anything about bullies. I didn't know who the sire was, or I didn't know anything about pedigrees. Nothing. We were there to strictly buy a dog for my wife, and once we did. The guy that produced our boy Kane, told us that this dog, was his sire was a third generation grand champion, and that my dog essentially was bred to be shown.
There you go.
So I told him, I was like, I don't know anything about that dog handling, man. Kind of seems like for somebody not like me.
Yeah.
But I said, you know what, I'll see what I can muster up, see what I can do, and I just started watching YouTube. Thank God for YouTube, man. It's the first time I actually saw Papa Pitt, who we're going to be talking to in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of instructional videos that he put out to start and how to work with your dogs, and that's how I started. And we went to a show when Kane was 9 months old, took best of winners, competed against the great Mufasa, owned by Falmaceto, and that's at 9 months old. Kane competed against that dog and lost to him, So it was quite the experience to take a puppy up against one of the greats.
Oh, for sure. That would be a monumental moment, and a moment of what I call reckoning and revelation. That moment you'd be like, you know what? There might be more to this thing.
Absolutely, and I was hooked. I've got a very addictive personality, whether it comes to alcohol or competition.
Yeah. Just can't help it, can't shake it.
Can't shake it. Like today, I was only gonna sign Tuna up for one show, and that was through a judge that I thought I would have probably my best chances with.
Yeah.
And I got up there for registration. They're like, "Oh, okay," and here's your form, fill it out, and I filled it out, and I checked show 1, which was the only show I was gonna do, and it was like I had this itch. Almost like the Dave Chappelle skit where he's, I had the itch, and so I just said, you know what, screw it. We're going to do all 4 shows. We're here. Why wouldn't we, you know?
Absolutely. Opportunities which you make it, people, and, you know, if you have a dog of Fortuna's caliber, you've got the experience Aaron has. Anytime there's an opportunity for you to get back in the swing of things, because it's been a while since you've shown, too.
Yeah, we've had, you know, we're not really, we don't do that many breedings, but it's just kind of how the stars aligned. We had 3 breedings just back to back to back, and then on top of that, we were hired to do 3 other litters. So in the last 6 months, we've had 6 litters.
Yeah, and that's a lot, people. That means for 8 weeks, roughly, bare minimum 6 weeks, depending on who you get to whoop your litters. Every 6 weeks, he's got a litter.
And a lot of times they were overlapping, you know, that's in a perfect thought that, you know, but no, a lot of times they were overlapping, so we'd have a couple. At one time we had 20 something puppies at the house.
Jesus Christ.
And they weren't all ours, you know. I will pride myself in saying that we will never be a puppy mill. They were ours, but we were whelping, and it was a crazy experience, and that one that I don't think that either myself or my wife would care to repeat.
You live and you learn, right? So getting away from the shelter dogs, getting into the show dogs, if you would, specifically American Bully being, as some would call it, a designer breed, man. You then went and found, or in the process of doing that, you found a mentor. And as I've talked many times on the True Beast podcast, we talk about the importance of mentorship. We know that in many places, even the greats, and I mean the ones who change the world, they find somebody to bounce ideas off of and someone to level them out, if you would, right?
Yeah.
So we all need guidance. We need a sounding board, a board of directors, if you would. How impactful, if you would, has Sergio been? And then, I don't know if you want to go there, but him and I have talked and we've done things about just kennel partners, man. Jesus. You know, guys, if you make the wrong move with the wrong individual, you can box yourself into a corner dealing with some fucker.
Is that what you're saying about me these days?
Hey, man, not at all, man. But you can box yourself in, man, and do some bad deals and be caught up in some shit you can't get out of. And at the end of the day, I know that you have a love and affinity for the dog, so imagine being tied to an individual but loving the dog but not wanting to do business with the dog, but you got the dog to do business in a sense while loving. I mean, it can turn into a big riddle, but talk a little bit about the importance of mentorship and what it's like to choose, if you would, the wrong kennel partner.
You know, choosing the wrong kennel partner can be very toxic very quick.
Oh, man.
You know, and it's not saying, like at first, a friend of mine, Fernando Munoz, and I were kennel partners, and he's the one that sold me Kane right off the bat. And you know, for a while we were cool, and just after a while I think we got a little too competitive with each other, and things kind of got toxic, and we just kind of turned against each other. And that's when I met Sergio. Well, I'd already met him. We had as a community, basically where we're from, we used to help put on a show. An ABKC show with the help of another guy named George Munoz down there, who runs a Sparta Boxing, which is all about bringing up kids and training them in within the sport.
There you go.
And we'd do that just to help, and that's where I actually met Sergio.
Also, Sergio got hands, huh?
Well, you know, I would not doubt it. I've never seen it, and you always get that sense with Sergio that if he lost it,
it'd be a problem.
It would definitely be a problem. He's the nicest guy, and he's actually probably one of the most cool, calm, and collected people that I know.
Yeah.
But you just get this sense that if he lets it go,
It's a wrap.
Yeah, and it would actually kind of be something to see. But no, importance-wise, it's meant everything to me. You know, like I said, me and Fernie, we're friends to this day. We're actually really good friends to this day, but we just realized that we weren't kennel partners and that we just weren't good together in that sense. And when I met Sergio and started talking to him saying, you know, I know you're going to shows, you want somebody to go with, you know, let's do this. And then, you know, I originally wanted to do something on my own, but, you know, Sergio's been doing this for forever.
Yeah.
And we got along great. We had a good time. And I told him, I was like, you know, dude, we've been going to shows. Why don't we do this as a team? You know, why don't we do this as kennel partners? Would you want that? Would you want somebody to be part of the Krossfire team? And he had told me, he's like, you know, dude, as long as there's no drama, you know, I'm cool with it. And he's like, but, you know, I'm going to do my thing. And this is my kennel. And I told him, I was like, I completely understand, bro. I'm here to learn. You're dude, you've been doing this for so long. I'm not going to come into this and expect that, you know, I'm going to have a say in things and this and that. And it just kind of started from there. I mean, from the first litter we had, he was there, you know, helping us, like, for instance, telling us about plasma.
Yeah.
You know, and using it in the first 48 to protect some of those puppies that might be faders.
Yeah.
Little things like that. Something as simple as not knowing that, you know, puppies can't regulate their body heat until a certain age. So, you know, making sure that I had a heating source. You know, going into it, we were.
There's no handbook really for it, for real. It's like, matter of fact, I think the world is often against people that breed, but where would you even love on cute puppies if nobody gave a shit about producing them, you know?
Yeah. And Sergio, like I said, Sergio's a wealth of knowledge, so he's taught me everything along the way. And, you know, I have to give the guy just all the credit for where I am today, because if it wasn't for him, you know, I would not be here. And him giving me the actual opportunity to be a co-owner with Fortuna with him. So.
Well, then it also goes to, you know, speaks to your nature too, because you're as good, he's as good as your ability to listen and learn and work with. A lot of times we forget that even as the teacher's as good as the students. And sometimes students don't always pan out. And I think the one thing that we all learn, and trust me, I did it years ago, you just can't do this thing alone.
Yeah.
I think in our heads we want to manage and deal with all these dogs, and, you know, finding somebody you could trust is hard. Finding somebody who cares about your dogs is hard. Finding somebody who gives a shit in the way you give a shit is hard. It just gets more and more complicated the more and more people you bring in, which is why the value and quality of person always is going to precede everything.
Definitely.
And he's a guy who's, and I know Sergio, we're going to get him on here too, high quality, very intentional, and that in itself is one of the things that will always help guide any of us, including me, as I've called him and say, Sergio, well, what do you think about this, man? I know you've been here before. How would you advise such and such? Super responsive to the people he deals with, and probably non-responsive to people he don't give a shit about. But he's good, man. So what's one of the things that you say Fortuna's done for you in your house, man? Because I know, again, we go from a $10 dog to a dog that is of the highest value, period. That changes how you even feel about yourself, for those that don't know. You get a great dog, it's like, boy, it's almost an ego boost. I ain't gonna lie to you now. You'd be like, whoo, look what I got.
Yeah, no, most definitely. It's kind of like, it's almost on the same realm as don't talk about my mama, you know. That's my dog. She's been awesome for our household overall, man. She has taught me so much about the breed. Kane, my first dog, was kind of, you know, my starter off, feeling things out, you know. Just kind of getting a feel for the breed, and actually getting Fortuna was where I learned everything. I learned, you know, overall patience. Even though she was an easy dog to handle, she's just kind of the one that made me the trainer and handler I am today, just because of I would say her patience as well to work with me. So, and not just on top of that, I mean, she's been such a blessing to our household. When you come over, you're gonna see the bond that dog. You sit here and you can tell that me and Fortuna have a special bond. But just wait until you see what it's done for my wife, and you're gonna see a bond like no other.
Hey, I love a person who has a great bond with their dog. I know the impact of a dog, and I can't imagine my life without him.
No,
Everyone
absolutely.
who knows me knows I've always had a lot of dogs. And sometimes I'll be like, damn, I can't believe I had all them damn dogs. And now I got even more dogs.
And they add up quick, bro.
Wow,
I'm at
God.
the point where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna actually have to start thinking about what I'm keeping and what I'm not keeping. And we've got a good, decent sized piece of property, and we're working on doing some overhauls to the property that we can actually carry more animals. But you know, we just added a fifth member to our family when it comes to our bulls, and you know, the house is getting a little crowded. So and all our bulls are inside bulls for sure. So
Yeah, these are house Negroes. These ain't no outdoor, but they ain't picking no cotton now.
no.
That's an extreme case, but still, it's like one of those things where, you know, my dog's Ego, the one can say he stands at the back of the door and he's like, bruh, he'll hoop and holler and grab because he's like, bruh, I ain't even supposed to be out here, man. Not like this. And he's getting better, but bruh, I was like, dang, I really did a bad job of like not making sure he was outdoors a little bit. But, you know, I don't like my dogs to go outside and die. So again,
I don't think any of us. I would hope none of us. Would
well,
like
you
that,
know what I
I'm
mean.
saying?
You know, some people, some people, unfortunately, they get a dog, got a backyard, put him in the backyard, leave the dog in the backyard.
Throw the food at them once a day. You know?
Yeah,
That's horrible.
and Ego and I, you know, we go on our 2 mile walks. We go train, we go work, we go play, we go have fun, and he comes in and chills. So
Seems like that magic number 2 miles is just like the perfect walk.
it is, man. You know, I tell you this is a buddy of mine who we also have on here. He'll tell you that he's got he had Achilles surgery, I believe, and so if he does 3 miles, his Achilles gets a little tense. And what happens is people get out there and they want to push and push and push. And the reality is a mile and upwards of 2, but realistically a mile every day solves a long-term problem. So I go, hey, why don't you just do a mile a day? Because at the end of the year, you'd have 365 miles done. He says, well, I never thought about it like that. Because if you take 2 miles, take a couple of days off because you're in pain, but you could do a mile every day and build up the conditioning strength, you'd be fine. So 2 miles, in my opinion, it's relatively feasible. We normally do that naturally walking throughout the day anyway. And it's not overwhelming. Once you get to 3, you're basically doing a 5K.
Yeah.
And at that moment, you're like this, man, I don't know if I want to run across country.
Well, it's not too bad. You know, I'm obviously a big guy, and our 2 miles is right now our average, but we used to do. It was almost 3.5 every day.
Yeah, no, and that's
And the dogs, it's so great for the dogs. I tell people the best training tool for a dog is to take them for a proper walk.
That's it, bro. You'd be, I mean, some of y'all wouldn't be surprised, but you know what a walk does for your dog, to your dog? Builds up confidence and so many other things. They need that. They need to be outdoors. You'll see them become vivacious. Being outdoors, just getting out there in that sun, and they'll get busy, man. So if you're just going to give some people advice getting into the show ring, what would be some things you tell them? Because I know it was new to you. You could tell them a little bit about the story of being disappointed in surgery, of taking the dog and saying, just let me show. You know, even how that energy goes all the way through the leash down to the dog as well. Because I know you did some great things. First show did some great things with Tuna. She killed it. Then turn around and she kind of like, you're like, oh, maybe she's not.
Well, actually, I started with disappointment. The very first show she was in, and I won't name the judge because I still to this day a little butthurt. But no, I'm not really. But her first show, and going into that show, I was already negative because in my eyes, I'm a very, very critical person. So, well, at least with my dogs. And I can see every flaw at all times. So going into it, I was already negative, thinking that we did not have a show dog, even though that I had promised Sergio that I was going to title this dog and I was going to do all these things. And I'm sitting here thinking, I was like, how the hell am I going to do that with this dog? So first show we go into, we didn't place. First show, did not place, and all I could think is motherfucker. You know? And I walked out of that ring pissed, and I like pretty much threw my lead at the crate. I mean, not at her or anything, just at the crate. I was pissed off, and Sergio actually said, "Hey, dude, you all right?" I was just like, "Dude, I don't know what happened up there. I'm sorry. You know, I was like trying to like apologize to him. Like I've put in this work. Trust me. She, you know, he's like, no, I can tell. You know, I can tell she's doing fine out there. He's like, I'll tell you what. Let me take the reins for the next show.
Mm-hmm.
So I let him take the reins for that next show, and he took best standard female. And I'm sitting there like, okay, so we go from don't placing to taking best standard female.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe it's a fluke. So next show, I was like, you know, handle it one more time. And he takes the age group. As soon as he walks out with the age group, I grabbed the leash. I said, okay, you're done. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going back in with her. And then we took best standard female again. And then on the fourth show, we took best standard female as well. So it kind of got my confidence going once Sergio kind of got me to come down a little bit. You know?
Yeah. Calm your ass down and
But,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, you asked me about advice for people just
Yeah.
kind of getting in. Ask questions, you know, and I know that the community out there is kind of closed for the most part. They don't like really talking to people that they don't know. But don't let that deter you. Ask questions, and if you're wanting to get into this game and you're watching this, and I'm always somebody that will respond, always. Yeah. And that I know that's not something typical in the community, but still, always ask questions. Talk to the judges. If you go in there and you show, ask them what you could do different. Ask them, you know, what you could do different for yourself or different for the dog, and listen. Pay attention, you know. Read the written standard. That's another thing. Know what is quality and what's not. Don't be misled by that fire.
Yeah. Don't burn your own butt, to say the least. And that's the one thing I'm gonna tell you, people, that is that I appreciate about Aaron in general, man. You know, when I first wanted to get back into breeding, I hadn't done it in a very long time, and here's the thing: social media is now added a component to the breeding side, the showing side, the visual side that didn't used to exist. You know, you literally wanted to go and see a dog, put your hands on it. Every choice you made was a choice you made with your own good eye. And a good eye is having that dog right in front of you, in my opinion. So when I talked to a few people that unfortunately they were more hype about their social media following than us talking about dogs. And I wanted to talk about dogs because if we're not talking about dogs, then what are we talking about? I'm only interested in dogs. I don't give a shit who you think you are. Tell me about your dogs. And they just couldn't answer the questions. And some got offended, if you would, when I would ask them very direct questions, and even told a few of them, I said, hey, we got to get on the phone. I want to build community and this communication out, because unfortunately we'll be here longer than our dogs are. So I think it's important that we all work together, right?
Absolutely.
And they didn't see that either. So I'm like, fuck. So, I mean, I literally go back somewhere and I'm like, yo, man, just thank you for being kind and responding, even, because there's some people who went a little bit over the top with this shit, man, just in responding. So definitely, if you have questions, reach out to Aaron. Remember, people, a lot of times it's about asking the right question as well. We can't make shit up, you know, or pull shit out of there. So kind of got to know what you're looking for anybody to help you walk down whatever road and find some direction. So at anywho, man, what's the future of Krossfire kennels look like, man? What's that future look like?
You could say bright, to say the least. Sergio's already got the program when it comes to Frenchies in the United States, and from the way his breeding program's going, I don't think that's going to change for a while. He's doing some crazy things over there, just breeding some amazing Frenchies, and on the American Bully side, we just had that litter with Fortuna, and Grand Champion Blue.
So let's before you go any further with that, tell them how important it is to make sure that you love what you do, because I know how important this breeding's been. This has been going on 2 years, man.
Yeah.
And imagine if you was waiting for this litter to drop just so you can get paid. Boy, you've been broke.
Yeah, a long time ago. You know, you have to love what you do. We've been through a lot to get this breeding done. Fortuna's first heat didn't come until she was 17 months. and already
17 months, people.
17 months,
Holy
and at 17
shit.
months, I was freaking out. Like, I had, if I felt like I'd put all my eggs in one basket with Fortuna, and what if she doesn't get pregnant? I'm gonna have to go out and look for another bitch right away, and then it's more of a waiting game. And it's not about the paydays; it's about the production side of it and getting your program going.
Yeah.
So the first time she had a heat, obviously we're not gonna go first heat, even after it being 17 months, it's a year and a half. So we waited till she was 2, and her first heat was a split heat, and we had taken her to a repro vet, and they did a great job. They did everything that they could. It's just that split heat and everything that happened for Tuna. Actually, I think I kind of think she had a little meltdown. She was not ready for the stress of leaving the house. She's a homebody. She loves being with her people, but she did not take her first heat, unfortunately, or the first time we tried to breed her. And second one came around, and again, the way the progesterone numbers rose, it was just almost erratic. She took her time. It almost took 2 weeks for her to hit 5, and then all of a sudden she went from 5 to like 25.
And he's talking progesterone, people, for those that don't know.
Yeah.
Normally, just so you know, within about 7 days, you start running the tests. If you really know your bitch, 7 days, the numbers should start peaking, tweaking.
I was going to say, that's pretty typical, but don't ever be afraid to start early, especially if it's her first time around and you don't know what her heat cycles are going to do. Start it early so you can see what it's going to do.
Now, he's saying that, but he also has a progesterone testing machine.
Go invest, because let me tell you, it's worth every single penny. We paid good money for it, and I'll tell you what, I wouldn't trade it for the world, man.
Well, so on average, you got about $80 plus, bare minimum 40 that you take per test, and you have to keep testing to make sure that the numbers align, because when you do get into the science side of it, you've got a 48 top line 72-hour window, maybe roughly, when the dog is ovulating, and you could basically ferment those eggs if you would.
Yes.
So he's definitely right. I always give it about 7, but I've been doing this a lot longer than the average person, so I don't like guessing.
I hate guessing, and that's why I start early. And actually, on this last girl, Frida, she proved to be a pain in the ass once again. She seems to just go super early. The first litter we had with her, she was ready by day 6.
Oh shit!
This last one, the owner, my co-owner of her, had told me that she had thought she had been bleeding for 1 day, and so I was like, okay, we'll wait a couple of days. Don't bring her over today, And it was, I didn't even really pay attention to the timeline, but when she ended up coming back to test, it was Christmas Eve. So what's the point in testing on Christmas Eve, because that specimen is not going to be able to get there on time, because it's Christmas the next day, and Anyway, so I test her Christmas Eve, and she's a 27.
Oh shit! Which then means you have to do surgical, just so you know, people.
At that point, and that's if you can get the specimen there in a good period of time. And obviously, I wasn't. It was going to be 3 or 4 days before I could even think about getting a specimen.
Which means the fight is over.
Yep. It's time to play the waiting game one more time. So.
6 more months.
But back to Fortuna and what it meant to us, man. We went through 3 breedings in that she did not take, and actually on the this last time that she did take, I was worried that she had PIO.
Woo! Lord.
She was excreting pus and mucus.
Jesus, I'd be scared to death.
And it stunk, and it was just all the signs of PIO were there, and it really scared the hell out of me. But we got it in there because we were going to go ahead, and we were planning on doing a breeding, and so did our vet. But we wanted to get in there and see what was going on. So he said, look, we're going to continue with the idea that we're going to do surgical today. That way, I can open her up and we can look, and if her ovaries are infected, then we know what's going on. But if they're clean, we know that infection's somewhere else, and that we're okay. Opened her up, and she was fine. And what it ended up being was a UTI. But I tell you what, that's pretty scary to get that UTI during that period of time.
Yeah, it's another time I would encourage you. I've had a couple of dogs that have some rough periods and rough times. Be very mindful of the areas in which you allow them to go and use the bathroom.
Yes.
Keep everything as clean as possible, to say the least. And really watch what's going on in purview. In your purview, there's literally a 2-week window where you should be very overly precautious, in my opinion, with your females if you are trying to breed them. So they go in and out, use the bathroom. They don't come around no boy dogs unless it's time to breed.
No guesswork.
I keep your stress levels low. It is like lockdown. Lockdown with very controlled variables, because again, that pyometry is nothing to play with, period, man.
No, and like I said, it scared the hell out of us, but when we found out it wasn't, it was such a relief.
Of course.
And we went ahead and we did the surgical. And she took, man. She took, and I can't tell you the size of grin I had on my face the day that we found out. And, I thought going into it, the stars were aligning and that it just had happened. I had that I didn't want to be negative, but the way I did it, I knew we were going to be close to actually breeding her on my birthday. And it just so happened to turn out that on the 24th of September is the day that we bred her, and that's my birthday. I knew at that point, I was like, this is happening.
This is something beyond my control now. Now it's just supposed to be.
It's just supposed to be. And sure enough, we were blessed with we had a litter of 7. One was unfortunately stillborn. And then right off the bat, we had an issue with one of the females. She was an obvious fader from the get, and we had pumped her full of plasma and did everything we can to keep her alive, but she passed. So we ended up with 5, and of those 5, one is a runt. So we had good choices, and actually it ended up being an amazing litter. And I just, when it all went down, man, it was surreal. Like, is this really happening? And it finally did happen.
Yeah.
And I got to thank David for being so patient and working with me, because as a stud owner, he didn't have to go as far as he did for me. He made sure that we were going to do this. We had communication, and there was actually times where at one time there was a lack of communication, and some things had got misunderstood that I had said, and then we talked it out, and we were cool. And that's what we need more of in this community too, is just open communication, because you don't want something stupid to end a relationship. You know. And Dave was great people, man. I'll tell you what, he worked with me through everything, and we got this done, and he's just been an amazing stud owner.
Yeah, and I know David as well. I know that he wants to be a positive impact in the community as well. There's no better way for him to continue to do so.
And he's been nothing but.
Yeah.
Nothing but.
And there's no better way to do it than by continuing to align himself and ourselves with people like him, and us all to continue to work together and talk like we do, man. And trust me, I think in some regard we all kind of have some conversation every so many weeks with each other, just checking in, seeing how people doing, seeing how the dogs are coming along, and so far so good.
After a while, you build a second family, and that's what it just comes down to. And I do have a dog family, and there are guys that, they're not local for me, and I'm talking to, like, my good friend Twan. He's from kind of the Bay Area, the Sac area, and we met pretty much through social media, and him loving Fortuna and going to a show to check her out that I actually didn't get to go to.
Sounds same like me.
Same like you, bro. And then he messaged me, and we just started talking, and now he's had me over at his house, we've become really good friends. So, and you form a second family, and there are people that you just talk to on a regular basis. David's one of them for me. We're always texting back and forth. My friend Twan, a couple other guys. Trevor, every day we're going back and forth,
I fucking saw more of the dogs than David has. I'm like, when people like, Hey, I remember somebody sent me a post like, "Hey, did you see the puppy just posted?"
Bro.
I said, "Bro, I saw that 2 days ago, man."
You know, I am really bad about posting puppy pictures, and I've people have kind of made me aware of it. I didn't even realize I was bad at not sharing pictures, man. I was just
But it's nothing to share when you're not trying to sell. Like, it's not a matter of him having trouble selling the dogs. It's a matter of making sure they make the right choice.
Especially with this breeding, I made 2 phone calls and I sold out.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I didn't share. And you know, David's one of the people I should have definitely been sharing with at all times.
He goes, "Yo,
you know, my bad, bro.
I saw Frank's ears got crap. Where'd you get that video from?" I was like, "Bro, that's from like a couple weeks ago, man, or a week or so ago." He was like, "Fuck," you know. But that's the point, man. You know, and I'm always appreciative. Aaron and I, you know, we share photography stuff, so I think that's where it comes in sometimes as well.
A lot of that comes in where it was, but it also came into the fact that for like the past about year and a year and a half, every time I've mentioned anything about a breeding with Fortuna, all I've ever heard is, "Hey, bro, don't forget me."
That's it.
Don't forget.
I've been programming his mind this whole time, just like the movie Focus, to make sure when it comes up, it's like, "Hey, don't forget me." You get a little buzzy here.
I have heard him say that. I cannot tell you how many times in the past year and a half.
I mean, I'll be honest.
And then when she took, he's like, "Hey, bro, don't forget me. Hey, by the way, congratulations."
Exactly. So, and that's the thing, you know. And at one point, I was kind of waiting around because I know I've been here through basically 2 miscarriages, if you would, and she didn't miscarry; it just didn't happen.
3 times actually.
3 times. Yeah, I've been through 3 times, man, and I was kind of, you know, holding off on buying a couple more females, and just getting the program, investing more in my own program because I'm like, this is a dog you make an investment in. Even if you get 1 or 2 dogs of it, you can build from it. You know, you never can go wrong with great females. To be clear, and she's a great female, and I'd love to have a dog to add to our program. What we're doing, man. And again, I've seen her in person. I've got the videos. We're here with her now. Nothing's changed in terms of my views on her. If anything, I'm more sure about, you know, just the time, energy. And again, Aaron went out on a limb with us. He doesn't know us from Adam, and he talked about meeting another friend. And this is the first time him and I ever met. Just literally the first time you get in and you take a 10-day trip with somebody.
Yeah, that's you know, it's definitely
It's a different.
It's very different. You know, I thought about that beforehand. I mean, we talked all the time, so I mean, it just felt natural, you know.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking about it, it's like, man, I'm going on a 10-day trip with something with 2 dudes I've never met. One dude, you know, I've been talking to, and it's just like, man, I hope this dude's as cool as he seems, you know. I hope he's not weird as fuck or just something fucking crazy. You know, I'm not waking up and fucking seeing him like staring at me while I'm asleep or some shit. You know,
weirdo behavior.
So thank God it's definitely not been that. It's actually been a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. And you know what I love about even Aaron so far, man. There's a humility that you have, man. That, you know, he just literally like, "Hey, this is your thing." It's like, bro, you're right here with us, man. You're just as important on that camera and being a part of this whole process, man. We're as good as even having you here with us, man, because we don't know everybody. We don't got a guide, and you know, as he said, "Hey, can I join?" Man, this is what I did this for. I told my guys we were going to bring a sense of community back to the American Bully, or just in the way that I think it could be done. And part of doing that for me is by that camera. My camera gets me in a lot of doors. It puts me in a lot of people's faces and gives them, again, a value add that they might not have had. And I know your camera's done the same for many people as well. So imagine what happens when you combine forces. And, you know, I stay out of his way. We talk a little shit. I'm going to get on this camera, but at the end of the day, I know I got to focus on videos, man.
Yeah. Well, you actually got in my fucking way today. You know, it actually turned out to be a pretty sick picture. So
it is.
Even with your fucking Caltrans orange shirt on and shit, it was still a fucking pretty sad picture. So.
That's it. It is a sick fucking picture. I told him I need it. So you see the picture. Remember, he took that fucking picture, man. And we are, look, ecstatic, man. The sad part is the social media, sometimes people are indifferent and very odd, and to say the least, from their social media. But this guy's as real as he's been via the telephone, and vice versa, man. I don't know how to be nobody else, or to be some weirdo. You know, I love the company of good company. So, you know, and mind you, his mentor / Sergio has been on our podcast. Me and Sergio have had great talks. So in some regard, he's connected to somebody who's been directly connected to me a few times now, and it's just been a good energy exchange, you know. So I don't know where you guys are at, what you breed, what you do, what you're listening to, you know, what part of this you're gonna take, what you're gonna take away from this. But I would tell you, man, get out there for one, make some friends, you know.
Networking is so important.
It's so important, you know, and definitely try to learn all you can. Don't assume that you know everything. I literally tell everybody, I don't fucking know shit. If you don't mind, tell me how this goes, how to do this, how to do that. I have a good idea on breeding, but trust me, I got a lot of questions about that as well.
You should always be the student.
Always. It's the only way to become a great teacher. Always, only way to become a great teacher. So if there's nothing else, man, I mean, I'm sure you'll be on another one because we got 10 days and quite a few more people to jump on. But I didn't want to miss an opportunity as we enter day 3 of the trip. First day was primarily traveling to Vegas. We got here, got settled, talked to a few people, put some footage out. Day 2, we shot a fucking show, showed the dog. We're on day 3 now, going into the following morning. It's about 2:30 in Dallas, if not 3. It's 1 and some change here. Shit, fucking 1:21.
It's Vegas, baby. It's so early. What are you talking about?
Exactly. They got a nap, I didn't. So my body's...
It was a fucking cat nap. We were out for like half an hour. What are you talking about?
Motherfucker, please. At least a solid ass hour. Jamarcus was still asleep.
Well, Jamarcus was doing a little bit more of the cat nap, but it's all good, man. He needed it. So.
But yeah, man, you know, so last but not least, man, what has picking up the camera done for you and your program, or just you and Jerome, man? I know what a photo or video does for me and what it does for my dogs.
A photo can mean the difference between, you know, actually winning a show or making a sale or, you know, picking up the lens it's done a whole lot for our program.
Yeah.
I can't express, you know, what it means to have a good picture of your animal up. You never want to put up a shitty picture, and I know we're not all photographers, and I know that, you know, not everybody has a professional grade lens and body, but, you know, go out there, make an effort to get a good picture of your animal. And I say it can cost you a show because, you know, a lot of times we network with these judges on social media, and it's not just on social media. It's not just social media. We get to know each other on a personal level. So a lot of times we do interact with each other.
Is that good or bad though?
I'm not going to say it's bad,
because
we should interact. They're part of the community just as we are.
Yeah, you got to go ask for advice and instruction. How to be better.
There needs to be a level of professionalism, definitely. You know, there are lines that you don't really want to cross. But I say don't ever put a bad picture up, because if you, let's say you do have one of those judges as your friends, and you post this picture and your dog's rear end is just as high as it can be, and the judge sees that, they remember. Trust me, they remember. And then you get that dog in the ring, and what are they fixated on?
Looking for that high rear. Where was that booty at?
They already know. It's
see
there.
That booty?
It's definitely there. So, you know, take the time to get some photography done, or take the time to pick up a camera. It doesn't have to be a crazy expensive camera. You know, the first setup I bought, which was actually for my wife, was only like $500, and it came with 2 lenses, and it served its purpose for a very long time. So, yeah, go get that camera, get down on your stomach, get down on their level, take a picture, and a good quality picture can change a program around overnight.
There you go, and I'm 100% in agreement. I know the importance of you know, showcasing an image on the real business side. These dogs, as I repeat, are a big investment of time, energy, effort, so forth and so on. And the one thing is, at the root of it, you know, we're not looking to get rich, but we don't want to go broke neither. So when it's time to sell a puppy, when it's time to stud any one of our boys out, we want to make sure that dog is highlighted in the best way possible. So I'm grateful, and I'm like I said, I was first thing I was like, damn, bro, who's taking those pictures? Told me he was, man. I really like pictures, and I was like, man, you got a fucking gorgeous dog as well. Had to see him in person. Fuck, man, this dog is wonderful. So it just kept going. You know, here we are now, and as he said, man, we're having a lot of fun. We're only less than 72 hours into this thing. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, it's just going to be a good day. And even when we like get to chill and be eventually back at his house relaxing, we're still going to be creating a lot of great content.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, if you ever want to get on my good side and start talking to me, you just tell me how pretty my dog is. We're gonna be good friends.
You heard it here first, man. Well, listen, Aaron, we appreciate you as always, man. I appreciate being part of the journey, man. I said I don't think we could have done this without you, man. Period.
You definitely could have. Maybe you probably could have gotten a little bit more done. I know I'm not the fastest moving individual around here, but
slow and steady wins the race. And I mean, it seems like I'm always racing, but I just don't like sitting on work. I set my own goals. I could probably edit 3 more videos tonight, but I know I wanted to get a couple different iterations done. And what I'm doing a lot of times is looking at the footage as well, seeing where the best story is. And the same thing with the photos. I actually like that I don't have to deal with the photos. So now it's like, hey, you do your thing. When you drop a great photo, I'm like, fuck, that's a tough photo, man. It makes my life easy.
Duly made my life easy today. That when you get a caliber dog, the caliber of dog that he is, just the front of the lens, when you get those shots, man, it's just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow. And that one shot that it's kind of it's a frontal with the headshot pretty much that I dropped today. Man, does Dooley look tough.
Bruh, cheeky, he's got tight cheeks, no wrinkles in his skin, man. Like so many people who really admirers of the breed and definitely the historians of the breed, man. He's, in my opinion, one of the better depictions of where you can go. Like, let's say he's not your style. He's a dog you still want to add.
Yes.
Because we all got some issues in our programs, and he's a solution because he's not too far to the left, not too far to the right, and he could be used whichever way you see fit.
He is one of the best representations of the breed out there right now. Definitely one of the best.
I'm in a complete agreement. And again, I'm not telling you he's your cup of tea. I'm just saying, look, if you really know the breed, understand the standard and the history of the dog, this dog could help you make history, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely. I was just laughing how you're talking about Dooley and everybody's cup of tea, and I just couldn't help but think, maybe he gets that from Fred.
Fred, will you hear this, man?
Yeah, I just play with you, Fred.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Oh man,
I gotta talk a little bit of shit, bro. You handed me a bunch of L's today, so I gotta get my jabs in somewhere, man.
He gonna have to change Fortuna's name to El Nisha, cause she took all them L's today.
Well, that's just rude.
Listen, people. Oh man, Stan, aka X Dog, we do. We picking. Like I said, we picking back off the True Beast podcast. I'm on that. We want to jump on, do our own thing as well. Continue to add value. Spend some time here. Jamarcus is always going to be in the room or doing something with us. Most of the time, we'll be sitting on some other episodes of me. We'll be getting in, to some other episodes. Hopefully, you get a chance to listen, like, comment, share. One of the things he always says, if you find any value in this, tell somebody about it. I know that these things are going to continue to get better as we all learn how to better communicate and, even more importantly, share things that we believe can help you and your pet be better, be great for that matter. That being said, man, this is also be on YouTube, /Fitbully TV. Tell them where they can find you, man.
You can find me on Facebook. My name, Aaron Sims. You can also find me on Instagram. If you love the photography side of what I do, I'm definitely more active on Instagram, and you can find me at Krossfire, Aaron, and that's Krossfire with a K.
There you go. Follow my guy, man. You enjoy the pictures and everything that he's doing. He posts other pictures as well of other dogs. All of his shots are super legit. So stay tuned, stay moving, take care of your dogs, man. Remember, these are a lot of stuff we gave you are solutions, not tips, people. And as always, good luck. Good shit, man. See, that wasn't that hard, was it?
Breaking out a mic in front of me, it was different.
It was good,
it was
man.
Fun, man. That was
good.
Fun.
I don't know if nobody else ever tells you this, man. You got a good voice for radio. Your shit is actually very complimentative in a way that really, I was like, bro.